Hello everyone, this is Allie, and I am the special guest on this episode on the Legend Keepers. Today we're going to be talking about Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
This is the HD remake for the Wii U, published not too long ago by Nintendo. The person playing the game could not be here today, so we're here to commentate. And as you can see, we've arrived at Windfall Island, just wandering around trying to figure out what to do for our objective to start with. So we're gonna head into this door right here. Talk to a man known as Tingle. Tingle has, I think he started, who knows when, far back, but successful roll into the pillar there. Open up the door, see Tingle. Looks a lot like you. And in the original GameCube version of the Wind Waker, they had the Tingle Tuner, which allowed you to use your Game Boy SP as a controller, which was awesome because you could screw around with your friends and keep saying the hey button and distract them for the time being. A lot of fun. So he throws his confetti, does a spin, what do you do? And you get the Tingle bottle. It's using the Miiverse, you can insert a message you've written and send it out to the sea for someone unknown to receive. Not really a huge fan of this. It's a funny animation. You just kind of write it and then you toss it into the sea like that. So, yeah, Tingle's just weird. Grown man in green tights. Doesn't look at all similar. Tingle's talking about how he's going to return to his special island, which you go ahead and stop by there later to help solve puzzle charge, I believe is what it was. And then you get a Tingle chart, which basically gives you the location of his island on the sea charts.
You guys took a really long time to go from one thing to the next.
Yeah, we had originally read the commentary when we did this playthrough. So go ahead and start reading it now, I guess, since it's taking that long. So next time it pops up, I'll be doing that.
Look at the Wii U gamepad.
Well, too bad we don't know. So I understand that this is your second time watching and or experiencing a playthrough of the Legend of Zelda series.
This is like my third time with Wind Waker, but I've played Twilight Princess a few times.
And how far are you into that?
I just finished beating the Goron boss.
So probably about 2 dungeons in, I think is where it's at. Thoughts about it so far?
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Why do you like it so much?
The graphics are pretty amazing, and then on top of that, I like the interaction that you have, like how much diversity there is in the game.
As you can see here, ducking through some tunnels, trying to avoid the rats, which you'll see later, I believe. Looking for a chest or something. So how do you feel about your first time commentating?
It's okay. I didn't really watch this the first time when you guys played it, so kind of watching it for the first time with everyone else. There's so many choices. Like backing up because he saw a gem. Yep.
So is there anything that's iconic to this game that really stands out to you that, let's say you're in public or something and somebody makes a reference, what's one thing that you'll pick up?
As in speaking, or as in like I saw the shield on somebody's book bag one time and I was just like, oh my gosh, I love your bag, and they were like, thank you.
Both. Let's try both.
Okay, so that would be like a materialistic thing, but like if somebody's talking and they mentioned anything about like Hyrule, obviously that's gonna pick up.
And so yeah, we failed right there. We went all the way around that giant maze just to come right back out. And I had known that there was something at the end, so I told him to go back inside. So what is your opinion about the mechanics of the Legend of Zelda, the Twilight Princess game itself, being with the sword fighting and the maneuvering and all sorts of the item selection and how they function throughout the game?
I'm not a huge gamer myself, but I've played several other games that are kind of similar, so to me it's very familiar and therefore like easier to operate. I like it a lot. I think it's a pretty smooth transition when you're switching out items and things like that, so I like it a lot.
Do you intend on playing more Zelda games in the future?
Most definitely. I think it's a great series.
So out of what you've seen for the Wind Waker so far, which one would you say is your favorite? Twilight Princess or the Wind Waker?
I personally like Twilight Princess a lot more. I like the graphics better. And I've played Wind Waker just in a demo at GameStop, and I didn't like the way that the controls were as much, but I just think that's because I'm not as big of a fan of the Wii U.
Yeah, the Wii U is sort of that barely current gen. It's kind of harder than debatable for the next gen as well. But on your opinion, the question would be, do you think that Nintendo should stick to the handheld systems or continue on with console systems?
I think console systems are a lot more popular, like PS4, Xbox One all coming out, stuff like that. But I think the handheld controller is what kind of makes them unique.
Yeah, the money right now is sort of in the consoles, kind of like you mentioned there. That's where the big bucks are earned. That's where it's just very iconic. Whereas PC, it's a great system and everything. PC's great and all, and it's supposed to be the master race, but you spend so much money on hardware that it turns others away. And so they go to a console which is already all made for them, and the games you just go out and buy whenever they come out. And so that appeals more to the market. But it's obvious that the money is in the consoles because PC, that whole company, or not the company but itself, but PC, major manufacturer of games, Steam, or distributor, my bad, is Steam. They recently launched a new thing known as the, I think it's called like the Steam Box. I don't know the specific name at this time, but it has a console controller, and it's supposed to have it to where you can play it on the TV and that sort of thing. So, explain to me why that's a thing. If PC is such a great thing, then why not stick to PC, and why are they coming over to the console-based idea of the controller and it being on your TV? That's where the money's being made, is the consoles. So we're trying to locate a sale right now, talking to some merchant who ends up telling us that the sail he has is a possession, that it's heirloom from home, that sort of thing.
That is the best coat ever. I want one. He's so stylish.
How about his mustache?
It's pretty fantastic.
Rate that mustache 1 on 10.
It's definitely like an 11.5.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that good of quality.
If I could grow a mustache, that would be the one that I would be sporting.
Interesting. Well,
That sucked up all your rupees.
not too bad. We still got 92 left. I think the best thing about this game is the fact that it has free roam to an extent. I mean, you get in a boat, you can sail to your heart's content, that sort of thing. It's really enjoyable. You know, you find a random island, you can go and explore it. A lot of fun.
So is Wind Waker your favorite out of the Legends of Zelda series?
No, it's definitely up there. I really enjoy the story because it deals with a kid earning the title of hero rather than being born and chosen into it. So it's very unique. Also the fact that it deals with sailing, while all the other ones, except for, you know, the sequels to this, such as Phantom Hourglass and I think Spirit Tracks, technically, all deal with walking and running around via horse or teleportation or so that sort of thing. So it's very unique, and I really like that for that aspect. But the thing I think that turns me away from it was the cartoonish design and the just parts of the game just seemed off. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I kind of understand what you're saying. Like, if you look at it like an evolution chart of the Legends of Zelda, when you look at Link and how he started off as like a little digital guy who's almost microscopic in size, and then you build up and like you're at to the point where the graphics are as good as they are in Twilight Princess, and then all of a sudden they zap back down to this like cartoonish figure. It almost appears as like a drawback.
Well, actually, the timeline went Wind Waker and then Twilight Princess, but they published this in HD. But even then, it's still cartoonish. It's much, much improved, but compared to Twilight Princess graphics, there's nothing that can beat it. I mean, it's so amazing. The detail that they put into that is really well done. And I can't wait to see if... I hope that they remake it for the Wii U, because I will be for sure getting that game if that happens. But ultimately, my favorite Zelda game in the series is Skyward Sword, with it being the very first in the timeline dealing with how the hero of time came to be, as well as the princess and how she came to be, and how the earth was thought to have been forgotten, and it was all in the sky. And it's a very interesting concept. So, and the graphics were good, as well as the music, and I'm a huge fan of the Zelda music, and I think it was the first time that they used orchestra music, or instrumental, not instrumental, orchestra, some sort of type of music that's different than all the rest. So as you've been playing the Zelda Twilight Princess portion of it, of what you played, who would you say your favorite character is?
I like my horse. I don't know why, but I really do like my horse. I don't like Midna. I think she's got an attitude.
Well, that's surprising because a lot of people seem to enjoy her. as
Yeah.
a character.
That's what I've heard too, and for some reason, she just got an attitude. I don't like her.
Fair enough.
I haven't finished the game though. Maybe she gets better.
Maybe. And I have finished the game a couple times. I think maybe 3 times I've run through it. It's hard for me to replay games sometimes, but you're definitely in for a surprise. That's all I'll say. So as you can see here, we begin our journey towards the next location, which is known as Dragon Roost Island. The graphics look amazing on the new Wii U. Very impressed. They added new mechanics as well, or not a whole lot of mechanics, just new features is what I mean to say. We stopped by this island to figure out what it is. And the person that's playing now had only played the demo when it first came out on the GameCube, and it had the collector series with like every Zelda game, but in a demo mode for like an hour. So he has never gotten to this part, and he was talking about how he really enjoyed it.
This is kind of off topic, but do they have an Oculus Rift for any of the Legends of Zelda games?
It's weird that you mentioned that. As far as I know, they don't. They have a very select amount of games for the Oculus Rift. That'd be interesting. I don't really know how you'd be able to do that, seeing it as a third-person game. Maybe sort of like a walkthrough of it, but I'm not really sure.
Just think how cool it would be to, in some of the games with better graphics, how cool it would be to submerge yourself in the Legend of Zelda world. No, he didn't break the other pot. Gosh dang it, Zach.
For those of you that don't know, the person that is playing is Zach, and he has only played, I think, one other Zelda game all the way through. I think he's played Ocarina of Time, which is probably one of my top favorites as well. Probably number 2 compared to Skyward Sword. It was kind of the game that I grew up on. My friend had it. He had already beaten it, or he borrowed it from a friend and he never gave it back. But he had already beaten it, the friend did. So he had that saved profile, so we'd mess around and we'd start a new game and try to get as far as we could. But we could only get past the Forest Temple. We could not figure out how to get to the second place. So we'd feel really accomplished if we could beat the Forest Temple within a certain amount of time. So, and here buying a bait bag from Beetle's shop. Beetle's been integrated into a couple of games now. I know the Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, both of them, and Phantom Hourglass, and I think the Spirit Tracks. Yeah, Spirit Tracks, and I think that's all that I can recall at the moment.
That parrot looks terrified.
What do you think it's saying?
What do I think the parrot is saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a parrot. Its expression is apparent.
There's your pen for the day.
But could you imagine having a boat that just stared at you whenever you weren't in it?
If you tried to tell somebody that your boat stared at you, or even talked to you, I think you'd get some strange looks.
Probably. Like, I was just going sailing, and my boat said the funniest thing the other day.
And he's just gonna scoot away from me. Look at this weirdo. I think this game was probably one of the hardest for me, because later on, there's a part where you have to scour the seas to find pieces of something that I won't talk about now. And you have to use charts. And these charts you had to pay for at Tingle's Island, and Tingle charges a ridiculous amount. And eventually I just gave up on the game. I got really frustrated and decided to come back maybe about a year later and found out that I was on the last piece for this item. And I beat it, and I went through the whole game, and I was really happy, and came out to be a really good game. And then next thing I know, there's a sequel, and that sequel was decent for a handheld game. And the Spirit Tracks I didn't beat because my voice recorder for the DS was being stupid and acting up. So I gave up. Again. And then the boat here introduces one of the many iconic instruments of the Zelda series, known as the Wind Waker, a baton of sorts that was used long ago when the people played music in the prayer of the gods. In this game, it's used to redirect wind, teleport, control things, all that sort of stuff. Is there an instrument in the Twilight Princess series?
An instrument, like in
Yes.
general?
Yes.
There's the, what is it? I want to say a flute, but it's not necessarily a flute that he uses to play music. And then when you're a dog, you howl. I don't know. It's not a flute. I can't remember what it's called.
I think I know what you're talking about. And it wasn't a horseshoe shape?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it a reed? Was that it?
I don't remember.
Like
It's gonna bother me.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. But, any other instruments? Is that all that you've encountered so far?
That's all I've encountered so far. Like I said, I'm not too far into the game.
Yeah. There's other ones throughout the series, like the harp, the ocarina, it always seems to be the heart or the ocarina. Because there is, oh goodness. There's so many in the series. There's so many Zelda games in the series. I think the Legend of Zelda is the only game to be put into the Hall of Fame. It's actually the only game in the Hall of Fame. Or, I actually just said that. Pardon me for that. But I think it's pretty cool. It's got about 25 years, probably 26 by now. 26 years of making this legend happen. The furthest back game that I have played is Ocarina of Time. I currently own like The Adventures of Link and the original Legend of Zelda, but I am just not motivated enough to play them because the graphics are so outdated, and they just don't seem interesting to me. I'm not a huge fan of side-scrolling games unless it comes to like Mario or those type of games. So,
Isn't it lucky for him that those berry things don't explode until after he picks them up?
yeah, I'd say.
Oh.
What would you say that's most unique about the whole Zelda universe?
As compared to any other video game, or?
Yeah, just something that makes it unique. I mean,
I like how they anticipated that he was gonna die there.
what do you mean?
They gave him a heart underneath the rock.
Oh, I mean, like, maybe a different question would be, like, when you first played it, what was one thing that really stood out to you and you're like, wow, I'm really glad that they added this. This is extremely unique, or, you know, this is why I love the game.
Like I said, I'm not a huge gamer, but something that I found that was really unique is how much free roaming there was that you can do. The only other game that I've played that's even kind of similar to having that much free roam was Jak and Daxter.
And about what time did you play this at? Like, year?
How long ago since I've played Jak and Daxter? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay, that was probably like 2 or 3 years ago, so not too recent.
Yeah. And you've heard me talk a lot about the different Zelda games out there, and I can go through a list later if you'd like to help refreshing your memory. But all the ones that you've heard me talk about, which one would you say you'd like to jump into next?
Probably Skyward Sword. That's the one that you recommend most highly, and you've said a lot of good stuff about it, so I'd probably say that one.
It's good. A lot of heart-touching moments.
Tears streaming down your cheek.
Yep, definitely. Box of tissues, that whole thing. It was great. It's sort of those things where, what do you do with yourself after a great series?
Crawl up in a ball, try not to cry a lot.
Yeah, that sort of thing. It's just a real eye-opener, because a lot of those unanswered questions that Nintendo had created during the series happened. So they answered a lot of those questions and made everyone happy. Although a lot of things that were thrown into the twist as well that I wasn't a big fan of, the whole new Motion Plus system. It was a great idea, but didn't work out too hot. So
I'm really kind of jealous of the guy with the wings. Like, how sweet sauce would that be to have those?
sweet sauce, yeah, definitely.
Although if you have to have that nose, I may pass.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Looks like you ran face first into a banana.
Yeah, their noses are a little off, seeing it as they are a darker skin race, and then they have these bright orange bird-type noses that are almost larger than their face.
Almost is the key word.
And they're not like beaks. Like, they're just... like, because their beaks are supposed to protrude from the face at a great distance, and this is kind of just like nose length, and it like consumes the face.
I think they're handsome.
Do you know?
No, not so much.
Sarcasm?
Yep.
Alright. Good enough.
They all have the exact same hairstyle. Look at the two in the background.
Well, they're like minions, and I guess I don't know. You know, it's always the background people that are
the most fun to look at.
The most similar. Spot the differences. Another thing that really puzzles me about this game is, why are his eyebrows above his hair?
Oh yeah, they are kind of like on his hair, aren't they?
Yeah. Like, do your eyebrows like pop off of your face and go through your hair?
Mine?
Yeah. Do you ever have that problem?
Well, I don't like to talk about it.
Oh.
How do you say that name? Prince Kamali?
I actually struggled with this in the first initial playthrough, so I just called him Prince K.
Special K.
Maybe.
Prince K's about to earn his wings.
Apparently.
Good for him.
Don't you just hate that?
When you're just about to earn your wings.
You know, everyone else has their wings except for you. Just flapping your arms like an idiot. In public. Happens a lot to me.
I feel like you should talk to someone about that.
No, I'm good. I think this is the number one part in the entire series that I hate, despite the other one. Because there's so much talking that I do not care about.
Oh, fair enough.
Because there's so many times where I restart the game, you know, maybe I missed something, maybe I forgot what it was like, and I'd always get to hear, and I'd hate it. Like, this is probably about the furthest I would do, or, you know, maybe I had a friend over for the day, and I'd be like, hey, let's, you know, do a playthrough, you know, I want to get your opinion on the game, that sort of thing. And they'd play up to here for the day, and then they'd never want to play it again.
How would you like it if every single time somebody gave you something, you had to pause and turn around and lift it up in the air and just stand there for like a minute or two?
And then have a bulletin show beneath you describing what it is.
Well, that might be helpful because, like,
Yeah.
you get like a new phone and you don't know how to operate it, but just like, here's this new gift, and like turn around and hold it up in the air and smile super big.
Yeah. So, this is the Legend Keepers, and we'll be signing off for today. Thank you for tuning in to watch our gameplay. This is Jordan.
And this is Allie.
Remember to subscribe, rate, and comment.